Hi everyone, my name is Jessica DeGroot. This is a morning in my life as the owner of a small cookie cutter shop and a behind the scenes look at how I take my cookie photos. When I was taking cookie and cake orders, I grew my business just by posting on social media and word of mouth. As a baker, one thing that's so important is knowing how to take great photos of your work so that customers are more likely to buy from you. So this is just a little bit of what I do to get my cookie cutters ready to sell in my online shop and Etsy store. I have a full-time job and I run my business on the side, and I have 3 kids. So it's always a challenge having enough time to fit everything in. For example, I like to make real-life cookie examples of all of my cookie cutter designs so that my customers have a really good idea of what the cookie is actually going to look like when they purchase the cutter. So I stayed up late after work to decorate these cookie samples, and now they're ready for the final touches, and then we'll move on to photographing them for the website. When it comes to decorating cookies and adding fine details like faces or text, I always use a projector. When I first started decorating cookies, I didn't use a projector for a while, and it was honestly terrible. I avoided writing because they didn't come out consistently, and it's so hard to freehand everything, so my life literally changed when I finally invested in a projector. When each detail within the same design is the same, it also gives your cookie set a professional and cohesive look. For my ghosts, I used the projector to draw on their faces with black edible marker. Then I used my black icing to trace the shape of the ghosts and add details onto the hat. The cookies are done, they're all decorated. Something that I always struggle with as a cookie artist and somewhat of a perfectionist is I'm always wondering, should I add more? Should I add a little outline here or maybe some like gold or glitter here? And sometimes I end up going on, like it could never end. We could just keep going and making these cookies so intricate and detailed, but I think I'm gonna stop for today. Sometimes I keep going and then I end up regretting it and I'm like, oh, they were good before, you should have left them. So I'm going to leave them and they're ready now to be photographed for the website. Okay, so I lied. I decided that these 2 little ghosty gals really needed a little outline on their bow. So I'm just going ahead and adding that. And then for sure, I'm done and they're ready to photograph. Here I am setting up my area to photograph my cookies. I have 2 foam boards, one on the bottom and one upright. These are only a couple of dollars at the dollar store, so really inexpensive. I also have my light source behind me, which in this case is a large window giving lots of natural light, because that's what I find gives me the best results. I also like to include some props. Here I have a tray, some cute plates, and piping bags. These are optional, but help to add dimension to the photos. Once I have my cookies laid out, I take a variety of photos and videos from directly above. I like to play around with the layout and move the cookies around to get different shots and highlight certain designs or elements. This can take a while, but I usually get a lot of content. All right, so I'm all done with the cookies today. All in all, that took about 2 hours from start to finish decorating the cookies and then take all of my pictures and film my content and stuff like that for my website and social media. There is one cookie that I'm not really happy with. It's this one. I think I'm just gonna totally redo it. I'm not happy with how the bow turned out. So I think I'll just rebake it and start from scratch and then take some new photos of that one. So of course that is going to take a little bit of extra time, but I really just want them to be perfect and look really good for the website. So I think it's worth it to redo that one. Now, of course, the work is not done. I have to go through all of the content that I filmed and all of the pictures that I took and edit everything. That does take quite a bit of time. However, it's something that I can just do here and there whenever I have some spare time. So I'll be doing that and then getting all of the files and photos uploaded on my website and my Etsy shop, and then they will be ready to sell. If you want a little bit of a more in-depth tutorial on how I decorated these Halloween cookies, then you can check out my last video. And of course, if you'd like to shop the cutters, I have all of the links in the description box below. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.